What, for a sumptuous Chinese meal?
You're like, oh, she doesn't even go here.
He's touched my penis!
What else you got?
A different
No,
toddler's
no.
nappies.
It would be...
Jesus Christ. That's Jason Bourne.
Welcome back to the world's most unnecessarily necessary F1 podcast, where four people who love Formula One far more than they understand it have somehow made that everyone else's problem for 4 seasons. It's a special week this week. Gentlemen, it is, for the first time in 2026, race week. And not in the vague, oh, it's coming soon kind of way. Like, we mean this week, kicks off tomorrow, race day this Sunday. If you are listening to this on release day, you have less than 24 hours before Melbourne goes live. Practice starts tomorrow, qualifying Saturday, and then lights out Sunday afternoon, Melbourne time, which is Sunday morning, if you're mad enough to be watching from the Northern Hemisphere. Tay, Sunday morning? Have I got that right?
Nah, it's Saturday night.
Okay. UK Sunday morning then. US maybe. What are you, Western,
like-
Eastern Coast? What coast are you on?
Pacific. West.
Pacific. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Anyways,
It's 5:30 p.m.
cool. I'm Ollie. This is Idiots of F1. And joining me to get you ready for the first Australian Grand Prix are my esteemed idiots that you would have heard in the background, Tay and Ev. Gentlemen, please say hello
Hello.
with a little bit more energy.
Well,
Good, that's the level of
I said
preparation.
something. Ev didn't do shit.
Oh, there you go. That's the level
I
of
nodded
Yeah, nodded.
to our
Yeah,
audience.
to be fair, we are on video. You can see us on video
Yeah,
now.
we can
We had
do
lots
it
of
now.
messages come through last week about the fact that we're now on video. So there you go. Hey, one notable absence, obviously. Digby is not with us today. He's away. I don't actually know exactly where. Expect something to do with the guitar or suspicious lack of Wi-Fi. Maybe even a scheduling conflict. He'll obviously blame it on time zones. Despite that fact, we are here to talk about Melbourne, and we have been here to talk about it since December. But hey, we three are the three best friends that anyone could ever have. Hey, you know what? That's the second Hangover reference I've got in 2 weeks. Last week, obviously, I did the We Are Back. Moving right along, here's your pre-weekend briefing. So we've got a snapshot of today's episode that will ensure you're going to head into Melbourne with everything you need to know, or if you like us, pretend to know everything you need. Kicking things off, we're going to dive headfirst to our full Melbourne GP preview. The 40th, I think, Australian Grand Prix. So the first race of the new regulations era, which we spoke about last week. And here's the beautiful thing. Nobody, not the engineers, not the drivers, not the people who literally built these cars, has any real idea what's going to happen on Sunday. The pecking order is a complete mystery, which makes us extremely qualified to tell you exactly what's going to happen on Sunday. From there, we're going to jump into our famous grid walk and trash talk, back for the first time this year. We're against some of the big news from this week that you actually need before the weekend starts. We'll get into the big storylines, what to watch out for in Melbourne, and then lock in some predictions. We have, I'd say we have with the confidence of a teenager after about 10 Bacardi Breezes. I certainly can relate to that one. Lastly, we're going to wrap up with what's Verstappen after our very, very famous quiz. We're going to wrap it up today with 5 stories from the last 7 days that are definitely worth knowing about, if anything, to pass the pub test or impress your date this weekend, which you better not be fucking doing during the Melbourne GP. Gents, as a tradition is always since maybe this time last year on the show, we've got the idiot icebreakers. It's not a serious question. It's not a test of knowledge or character. Maybe a little bit of character. Just putting my fellow idiots on the spot here for the entertainment of the people who've chosen to spend their Thursday commute with us. Tay, you are first. You have just
am I always
landed in
first?
Melbourne. You're practically through customs, and then you're not. Australian Border Force has pulled you aside. They've found something in your bag.
Classic.
What would be the most interesting thing anyone could find in your bag? Like, if it were your worst nightmare came true, what is it, and how do you explain why it's in your bag to a very serious border enforcer? Don't even shy away. What's the worst thing that comes to mind? Like, I know you're probably thinking vibrator and why you would have one. What else you got?
A different
No,
toddler's
no.
nappies.
It would be Jesus Christ. Oh my
Oh,
God.
we've lost Ollie. We've lost him.
My God.
I can't even. Ev. How do I even fucking come back from that?
That would be embarrassing. Is all I'm trying to say.
I'm trying to think of something and you just come out with that banger.
Jesus,
Fuck.
right? You want me to save you and
Do I
move
even
on?
bother?
You gotta try. Honestly, what's the worst thing you can
I-
have in your bag?
Ferrari's strategy plan.
He's gone straight
And-
to the F1 thing.
Yeah, gone. I got to keep it.
How
Got to keep it
embarrassing.
topical. And
Yeah, how embarrassing.
and the reason, and why do you have this in here, sir? And it would be because
So I am going to interrupt you. Just for everybody, I mean, the whole point of these icebreakers is to give you context to what I'm working with, but also so you guys can get to know. You will have very quickly picked up that Tay was a terrible creative storyteller at school, clearly has no career path where it relies on telling stories to engage an
Why
audience.
the fuck would I? Hey, absolutely
Right.
not. It's also
Okay.
1:30 in the morning here. No, it's
you know
10
what?
to 2.
The border force has gone, man, I don't even fucking care. Keep walking. Ev, your turn. Ev, you've been offered 2 tickets to the Melbourne Grand Prix this weekend. One condition. You
Right.
have one condition.
What is it?
You've got to spend the entire race weekend in the Aston Martin hospitality suite, making polite conversation with Lawrence Stroll about how well the weekend is going. How long before you get kicked out? And what's the reason?
No, I wouldn't enter. I'd just
No show
straight
Lawrence
out-
Stroll.
I'd
No?
pick up 2 drinks and just walk out.
You're going to no-show him. Smoke bomb that poor guy.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's more embarrassing for Lawrence Stroll that he's waiting for me, apparently, of all people. He's got better things to do.
Tayev, pretending you're Digby, the FIA gave you 30 seconds on the race director's radio. Open channel, every driver on the grid can hear it, right before the Melbourne lights go out.
Yep.
What do you say and which driver reacts most strongly?
If I'm Digby, I would say something like, my next single comes out in 3 and go.
Walking sandwich
I'd be
board.
I'd be
promotion,
promoting something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just plug-in.
Are you gonna jump in there, or are you gonna give us another Ferrari F1 strategy
I think
story?
you've already shoved me in a pigeonhole
There you
and
go.
said that I'm a
Yeah.
creative as fucking.
We've shoved you into a Tay-shaped hole.
You
Air
can
in
say
a hot
anything.
air
It's got the
balloon.
word pigeon under.
Hey, Diggs, whenever you're back, that audio transition would be perfect right about now because we are ready to talk all things
Meow.
Melbourne. Grid walk and trash talk, today's main event. But before we get into the race storylines and the predictions, we need to start somewhere we genuinely didn't expect to be starting this week. Because this week, there's actually been a real conflict in the Middle East that has directly affected whether Formula One was even going to be able to get to Melbourne. And I want to be clear, this is obviously a pretty serious situation. Real military strikes, real consequences for real people across the region. So we're not here to make light of that. The knock-on effect obviously is, and what we want to talk about regarding the F1 logistics this week, has been extraordinary. And it's a story that most people may not even be aware has happened. I think if you're in Australia, you would have probably seen it on the news, but broadly speaking, unless you're kind of tuned into the F1 world, you'd have no idea as to what mountains have been moved this week. So here's what went down. So obviously on the 28th of Feb, which is weekend just gone, the US and Israel launched coordinated strikes on Iran. From what I understand, Iran and its allies then retaliated with strikes across Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and obviously the UAE. So a number of destinations there, which will be very, very familiar to people that are involved in F1. Dubai International, which is obviously one of the busiest airports on the planet, was shut down. And Doha's Hamad Airport, which I was only at a couple of months ago, was also shut down. Flights have been diverted, no fly zones implemented. And F1 had teams, equipment, personnel, all mid-transit to Australia through the Middle East. Now, most people actually have no idea what it takes to get an F1 team to a starting grid. I know Ev's got some context, but I just want to frame it here for you. I want to kind of help you picture this. So F1 ships around 1,200 metric tons of equipment every season. So just to help you grasp that, because that number meant fuck all to me, 1,200 metric tons actually equates to 600 hippos. Actually, is that a lot? It doesn't even sound a lot. What about 8 blue whales? 150 T-Rexes. Okay. 17,000 people. at an average of 70 kilograms. So if they're coming from America, maybe not. Hey, that's how much shit they move across the world every year, all 24 races, across the 5 continents. And I think it's like 21 countries. So when we look at, say, Melbourne, each team will move about 50 tons of freight per race. So we're talking steering wheels, extra chassis. We're talking even the tiniest screwdrivers, or if you're Aston Martin, Lance Stroll's extra 2 front wing replacements. DHL charters have up to 7 Boeing 777 freighters and deploy, I think I saw somewhere, and somebody will call us out if we're wrong, over 400 trucks, many with 2 drivers, so they never stop moving. Air freight alone costs each team around $14 million a season, and teams leapfrog equipment. And I learned this from you last year, Ev, where some of the stuff gets set by sale, and then, which is apparently about 50 times cheaper, while other stuff flies. So with 2 of the world's biggest freight airports closed overnight, to which they are moving through, F1 just had to reroute. So teams scrambled through alternative hubs in Europe and Asia. I heard that, and I'm going to fuck up this destination. There was somebody coming from the UK and they flew through Tanzania, which I believe is is that right?
Pronunciation, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Tanzania.
So in Africa or South Africa?
Africa.
Cool. So that's just one example. That's one example. Yeah, I'm in the zone. But in good news, obviously, for F1 fans, only yesterday, Australian Grand Prix CEO Travis Auld confirmed that all freight is in Melbourne. Everyone is here, maybe a few dribs and drabs, and that the race is on, baby. Gents, did either of you have genuinely any idea this is what happens behind the scenes just to get these cars to the grid? Ev, I want to kind of start with you. You've got some understanding of this. I never knew it was such a logistical beast. I mean, it obviously makes sense now in hindsight, but fuck, what a trip.
Yeah, I'm surprised they send a shipment by sale, as you said.
Clues in the name, big guy.
And
Say what you see, Gareth.
That takes like 3 months to get anywhere. So I'm surprised that it wasn't cheaper to send it by sail from England straight to Australia and then use the Bahrain package that they've got and keep it in the Middle East, because we're here to China and Japan and
we're more
and then
supposedly two in the Middle East. So I'm surprised they don't keep one package on each kind of continent.
That would cost a fortune, wouldn't it? Like, I mean, and
Not
what about your upgrades in your?
Yeah, it wouldn't cost. It would cost a lot less than shipping. I'm pretty surprised that if they have gotten it all together. That's impressive. That's a lot of cash.
Chess pieces.
I spoke to the CEO of a company, and he was talking to me about them during COVID, and ships would just get redirected willy-nilly because no port could. If a port's full, you can't just wait. The ship's got to go to the next one. And he was telling me about they would have auctions from clients to see who could pay to get their ship. Point is, that's probably what's happened, is that someone's held, an open market for, how quickly do you want this stuff to get to Melbourne?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that and why are they paying for it if DHL sponsor the Formula One?
Well, it's probably contra. Tay, let's pretend for a second that you were offered the chance, or you were the logistics manager for an F1 team. I mean, is that a job you'd want? And regardless, how long before you actually got fired? I mean, we know numbers aren't your strong suit.
Based on how long it fucking takes me to get out the door, I would last all of 3 seconds and would be fired on the spot.
Tay would be so good as as Lance Stroll's PA. But Lance, put it down. Put it down. Look, we're going now.
Isn't that a babysitter, Ev?
Yeah, but you've got experience.
Yeah.
I've got experience.
Don't eat that, Lance. Oh.
Get it out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Ev, I know you'd probably take any job, but logistics manager in F1?
Logistics manager, for a team.
That was the question.
You'd have to have some sort of agreement in your contract to say if the shit hits the fan, I have to get
help
round the clock, bonuses or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you'd be on the phone 24 hours a day.
It did make me think. about COVID and when, I don't know if you guys recall, but everyone was already out here in Melbourne when that race was shut down.
Yes.
Just the amount of money that
just
must
went down
have
the
just
drain.
been left.
Yeah, it's a sunk cost.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good.
Well, you
Good
weren't
from you.
explaining it.
Yeah. Hey, the point is, Melbourne is fine. The Grand Prix is going ahead. Against this
Thank
reality. I can't
God.
control what might happen in the next 2 days, but the reality is,
At
unless
least.
there's another pandemic, Melbourne's going ahead. But lads, and Ev, you obviously alluded to it, but just cast your eyes 6 weeks further into the calendar. You got Bahrain in round 4, and then you've got Saudi Arabia in round 5. So I think it's beginning of April or mid-April. Many punters and media outlets around the world are suggesting that both are now quite understandably under real scrutiny. And FIA President MBS, so Mohammed Ben Sulayem, for those that are playing catch up there, he's put out a statement this week, quote, "Safety and well-being will guide our decisions." This is not a denial. This is the kind of thing that you say when you haven't really ruled out anything. And as it stands, lads, the contingency venues being floated are Imola, which held the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix until last year. I think last year was the last year. And now I will fuck this pronunciation up. Portimao. It's like,
yeah, no, that's pretty good.
Not,
That wasn't bad.
Thanks, teacher.
Well, what is it?
Which is obviously in Portugal. He said it in Portugal, which actually stepped in COVID in 2020 and I think 2021 they raced there, and is already scheduled to return in 2027 and 28 when it replaces the Dutch Grand Prix. Now, by all accounts, Portimao is essentially ready to go at short notice. Listen, putting again to you both, if Bahrain and Saudi do get pulled, and forget Imola and Portugal for now, where would you want the F1 to go? So just don't talk to me about costs because we don't understand it. Don't talk to me about what's actually legitimately ready. Where would you love to see the F1 turn up in a couple of weeks if they could yank it out of the Middle East?
Yeah, Hockenheim. Go back to Hockenheim. Hockenheim is the best.
You love
Why
Hockenheim.
We haven't been there. It's such a good track. Do that. Is there anywhere in South America we can go to? There's really nowhere in Africa that's ready.
Polo.
I said, don't worry about being ready. Where could you go?
Well, Germany.
South Africa. You've always wanted South Africa.
Or anywhere in Africa, in continental Africa, or South America.
Okay. So do you want to just rattle off the rest of the continent so you covered all bases?
Maybe they can do what's that bridge in Miami? No, in Miami, and that bridge goes over it looks like it goes over the horizon.
Oh,
it's so steep.
Yeah. Between the islands.
Yeah.
That's usually where a bridge is, Tay. You're on fire, man. Hey, Tay, where you go? Where do you want the F1 race to go?
I wouldn't have a problem with having 2 Spas in the season. I love Spa.
Yeah, they should do a reverse.
I'd have that one.
Do it like Mario Kart style.
Do you know what? I'd kill for another Australia race. Get it in Adelaide. That'd be sick.
Adelaide, it'd be nice to have
Bathurst.
Bathurst would be great.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, or a street race in New York.
That would be a shit race to watch, but visually quite stunning.
Yeah,
like Vegas,
wouldn't it just?
Hey, but all jokes aside, the decision about Bahrain and Saudi, and maybe Ev, I'll put one to you on this. That's a decision that they would have to make pretty soon, right? Like, it's not like you can wait till the last week or a week out.
They can afford to wait until the last week.
But in terms of Melbourne, Melbourne's been getting ready for ages for this weekend. It's not like, yes, you have tracks that are ready to go, but you still, unless it's an actual proper track, right? Like a racing track where you don't have to worry about
a street track that you have to set up.
Yeah. I mean, that year where they had the bombs they were bombing the
same place.
Fuel
silos
or whatever.
Same place.
And then you're just acting as if, it's all fine. And you can fly.
Don't
worry, it's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Do you remember that? Remember all the visuals and the cars are just doing free practice or whatever, and there's just the smoke.
And they could smell it because it carries on the wind, obviously. And you're asking a culture that has a different perspective on health and safety, I guess. And so it's not really one that we can speak to.
But the FIA will make that call, right? It'll be the FAA. If Mohammed is coming out making comments, it's them, I assume, that make the decision.
Wow.
Do you know what? Just on a side note, and this I didn't have in the episode notes, but and you guys may or may not know this, and you may not be able to articulate or add to it. So by all means, feel free to say whatever you want. So the FIA is actually the governing body of the F1.
Yes.
And they lease the rights to the F1 to Liberty Media, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, for this whole reason, I thought the F1 was like an independent. The sport was theirs, but the FIA were like the referees.
That's an expensive lease.
Look, international drama aside, lads, let's actually talk about the race itself, because usually that's what we do on a grid walk and trash talk, is we're taking everybody who's listening around the track. So just picture it in your mind. The uneducated word on the track for those new or those like us have awful memories and can't actually remember which track is which. But what we know about it is Albert Park is a street circuit. It's through a public park, which I also was reminded
Albert
this week.
Park, actually.
Yeah, did I not say? Yeah, public park is Albert Park.
I'm looking at Tay on my screen and I'm waiting for him, because the shoe's going to drop and I know Tay's going to laugh at
Apparently it was built. Albert Park was apparently built for the F1. Anyways, it's fast.
You're welcome.
It's flowing, I think, questionably, particularly when we're talking about overtake modes. There's not a lot of natural overtaking. Yay, for those that are sitting there waiting for this race. Historically, it's been a bit of a race of attrition where mistakes get punished, particularly last year where, actually, let's be honest, the rain made it one of the most entertaining, exciting races of the year. And yet, Tay, to your point, the rookies. This year, we've obviously got the new regulations. We've got no DRS. We've got a field that's barely been benchmarked against each other. Last year's results are pretty much useless as a form guide because nobody really knows who's actually going to go well here in 26, which is beautiful and terrifying. By way of the specifics, it's 58 laps long. It's a total race distance of about 310 kilometers. Tay, what's that per lap? No, okay, I'll just fuck it. Yeah. I don't care. I just want to see you squirm.
I was like, fuck.
Last time out,
is it Haas already?
Lando grabbed his maiden win of his maiden championship year. Oscar. Look, I mean, he was holding the attention of the Australian nation as he pushed for the win until he went off in, I think it was like the last 10 laps. He inevitably finished the race in 9th. Using Oscar as the launch, here are 4 storylines that we are watching closely this weekend for our listeners. So story 1 is the Aussie curse. So Oscar Piastri is 24 years old. He's one of the best drivers on the planet, even if our bias says so. He's got his own grandstand at Albert Park, the Piastri grandstand. It's on the main straight. It's right opposite the McLaren garage. And as we noted, well, probably worth noting, given the curse, is he's obviously never won his home race. But, gents, here's the thing that matters more than Oscar specifically. So no Australian driver has ever won the Australian Grand Prix. Not Webber, not Ricciardo, not anyone. The duck has never been broken. So, gents, in acknowledging the pressure and particularly that on whether McLaren can actually back up its car, the car's dominance from last year, is Piastri the one to finally do it?
I think he's got the best chance out of anyone.
Out of any Aussie?
Also, out of any
he's the only
Aussie.
one on the grid.
Yeah, out of any Aussie. But I think Lando had his stand at Silverstone and he won that last year.
True.
Piastri's
you're hoping
got his
for
now. Yeah,
okay.
So I'm hoping Oscar comes away with it just to break it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be amazing. Yeah.
Ev,
you've watched Formula One forever. I mean, how much would it mean for the Australian public? How much would it mean for Aussie fans for an Australian to finally actually win a race?
It'd be properly epic.
Your face gives it away, bro.
Hello. Super excited.
Well, he's not the most exciting guy.
No, he's not. I know.
It doesn't mean you have to be like him.
Well,
do you reckon he'd do a shoey?
Nah,
I don't know. I don't know
if
what
he
would
does.
do.
It'd be awkward as fuck. It'd feel like he's just trying to be one of the kids. Hey, I'm just like you. I'm just like you.
I think that if he won, it'd be super awkward because he just fired Mark Webber.
Well, no. He didn't fire him. He's banned it. He's just not part of the track anymore. Hey, speaking of having a grandstand named after you at 24 and adding pressure, out of curiosity, what did you both have going for you when you were 24? Just anything like jump out? I think you had a job, didn't you?
Maybe.
I think I moved to London.
Did you when you were 24?
Yeah, near the end of being 24.
Were you punching lampposts at that age? I can't remember.
Me?
No, wasn't that Will?
No, that was all.
Yeah. No, yeah. Bus stops, mate. Hey, storyline number 2, George Russell, the favourite. I'm not going to throw numbers around. You know our position on that. But the preseason consensus, as we discussed last week, has Russell as the man to beat this year. And there's obviously a reason for it. So Mercedes looked really fast in testing. There's a lot of questions and talk about whether or not they're sandbagging. They've still got 7 races of their regulation loophole advantage baked into the car's development. It's somewhat of a head start if you are a non-Mercedes fan, and one for another day obviously hasn't gone away overnight. The rough hierarchy going into the weekend, based on what we know from the bookies, has the following order. You got George, Max, Charles, Kimi, Lewis, Lando, and then Oscar. So actually Oscar's quite far down the pecking order. But lads, here's the question. Is this Mercedes intrigue? Is this Mercedes performance? Is it real? Or is this just a fake out? I mean, we've been here before. Your team looks dominant in testing. It fades when the racing starts. We've seen the film. This one doesn't actually have Brad Pitt. But do we actually buy it this time? Are you guys picking George? And if not, who is your pick to win on Sunday?
I think that there was a very convincing animation that came from Bahrain that showed the cars on their best lap, and it showed everybody was equal except Ferrari took off like a rocket at the beginning. We all know how hard it is to overtake. So if you're in pole position,
betting man,
yeah,
woman.
I think that's
sorry.
That's a far greater advantage than just having the fastest car. But the Mercedes was so quick that it had to slow down so much in the corners that everybody caught up anyway.
What do they call it? It's the Constantina effect, right? Where it looks like you're catching up on corners, but it was when they were coming out of the corners. It was like, oh, bye, Mercedes. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
But then they catch up in the corners. Everybody catch up in the corners because Mercedes going so fast. You've got to slow down much sooner. And so it kind of just worked out. So
you saying Charles or Lewis? Who are you tipping?
Lewis.
Oh, wow. Tay?
For a change.
I'm sticking with what I said because I want Oscar to win. But I want Lewis and Charles to be up there.
Okay, I'll get to that in a second. You don't have to add just yet. Just stick with Oscar. Oscar.
Okay, all right. Sorry.
Okay.
Don't take it out of your mouth.
You've both touched on Lewis. Storyline number 3 is obviously Hamilton's redemption arc. So as we discussed at length last week, go back and fucking listen to the first episode. Lewis did not get a single podium in 2025. And for the first time in his career, he said publicly, and this is a direct quote, that he forgot who he was, which is one of the most extraordinary things the 7-time world champ has ever said out loud, acknowledging he's still not mentioned anything to do with Kim Kardashian. And now, obviously, lads, it's a new year. We've got new regulations, new car, and Ferrari were the fastest, as you've alluded to, in some instances. But in terms of actual lap times, they were the fastest in both Barcelona and Bahrain. If there's ever been a moment in history of this sport tailor-made for a Lewis Hamilton comeback story, is it this weekend at Albert Park? So from both of you, what do you actually need to see? Ev, you kind of fucked this question because you've jumped in and said you think Lewis is going to win, but
I've got a different answer for this question.
What do you actually need to see from Lewis in Melbourne to believe that this comeback might actually be real? Yeah, what's the bar for you, or what's the bar for the world?
What I like is how everybody's saying that Aston Martin have to not race. Essentially, they just can't. It's
they're
not
our
possible.
Next storyline.
What I want is all of this. All of the, it's not hype, it's the anticipation of Ferrari.
Yeah.
And I want Ferrari
every preseason.
I want them to show up for free practice. And qualifying, I want them to qualify first and second. And then I want them to not race and to leave and go to the next race. And we'll do that all again. We'll qualify. So you never have to get disappointed. They'll never let me down. They won't let me down if they don't race.
Fuck, I think if that analogy is even close to your sex life, I feel very, very sorry for the other people.
Don't worry, ladies. I am amazing, but you'll never know, and you'll never be disappointed.
I am incredible at foreplay. I am
us
so
collectively, we will get through this.
Okay, but look, honestly though, like, I've been watching F1 since I think we alluded to Drive to Survive. That was 2019, so let's call it 7 years. Did I do the math right? But in that time, Ferrari have been awful. Literally. Like, I mean, yeah, they've had like a second here or there, but they've never been close.
Yeah.
But surely a Ferrari, I can't think of a better story for F1 than Ferrari winning this year. And I don't, to be honest, care if it's Lewis or Charles. I mean, I'd love to see Charles win. I'd love to see Lewis win. But that's got to be good for the sport, right? That has to be.
It's long been said that there is no Formula One without Ferrari.
Exactly.
Ferrari
the icon of F1.
Well, it's Ferrari 1.
Yeah, they get given so much for being the longest serving and they have finagled so much money out of
That's
this.
not a word.
They were the highest. They were highest.
And they,
something like 200.
So this is their only, as marketing expert will remind everybody, Ferrari don't actually spend quote unquote $1 on marketing, but they do spend hundreds of millions for Formula One every year, and they take a lot of money from it.
It's a big advertising billboard.
Yeah, it's
when they're good.
Yeah. I mean, I'd still have a Ferrari. Yeah. All right. So you agree?
But if someone handed me one, I'd be like, I won't say no.
I won't say no.
Oh, not in red.
No. I can't get that in the driveway. It's gravel.
Brother,
it's gravel.
It's in the wrong color.
Hey, storyline 4. Aston Martin's Ghost Run, right?
I guess you didn't want to ask me. Yeah.
Well, you would say,
I forgot what the question was, and I was going to tee it up for you, and then I forgot what it was. I was talking for so long.
As usual.
Tay, would you like to see Ferrari win?
Of course I would. There,
good,
done.
great.
Next.
There you go. Added. Wow, so much value for everyone. Right, storyline 4. Aston Martin's Ghost Run. Right, and this might be the most extraordinary story of the Melbourne weekend. I said weekend, not week, because it's been a pretty unbelievable start. And it's obviously got nothing to do with winning. Everyone that knows anything about F1, even us idiots, know that Aston Martin's brand new Honda-powered car is suffering, and it is suffering badly. So based on some quick research, the cause, as I understand it, and I'm not going to try and get into the technicalities of it, is sustained vibrations from the car running at speed. You know, pretty critical fucking issue for a sport where running at speed is literally the aim of the game. But here's the brutal part. The longer the car runs, the worse it gets. It's not a problem you drive through. By all accounts, it gets worse with every single lap. And so out of that, reports earlier this week, not started by us, suggested that Aston Martin could actually consider invoking a force majeure, the legal right to withdraw entirely, to skip Melbourne in race 1 of the new era. And obviously that would be unprecedented. And just when you think that's absurd, instead the plan is now this, apparently. Qualify within 107% of pole, the minimum required to start, and then run for just a handful of laps before taking a deliberate DNF. It did not finish, for those that don't know those initials. Just enough mileage to give Honda the data that they need to understand the failure, show up, gather data, go home. We are calling it a ghost run. Firstly, gents, do you know what that means, 107% of pole? Do you actually know what that means?
Tay, you wanted to go.
I actually don't.
Tay's like,
that was the first time.
I'm going to give 110% effort to this.
I just want to give
question.
110%. I feel like we went out there and gave 110%.
But yeah.
Nah, I don't.
No? All right. Well, let me explain it, because there will be a lot of people that don't know. And even if you do know, I'm not going to ask you to explain it. So it's a rule that prevents dangerously slow cars from starting the race. So if pole position sets a lap time of, say, a minute 20 seconds, then 107% of that time is 1 minute 25.6 seconds. So you've got an extra 5.6 seconds, right?
It's FP3, not qualifying.
What?
It's whatever the fastest time in FP3.
Is it? Are you sure? Well, there you go. This is why we have Ev on the show. It's the only reason
why you should have gone to me before you started talking.
No, you would have talked about soccer and tried to make it sound relevant.
I would have made an Austin Powers reference that would have been hilarious. So the point being
is that the logic is safety. If a car is that much slower than the rest of the field, it becomes a hazard on the track. Backmarkers getting lapped repeatedly at a significant speed differential creates risk. And not sure, actually, when I think, I'm not really sure how that's any different from when they allowed Mazepin to race. You guys remember him?
Yeah, of course we do.
Mazepin. Look, adding salt to the wounds of another awful week for Aston Martin, a Honda executive has reportedly pointed the finger directly at Adrian Newey. So when Newey joined, apparently, in early 2025, by all accounts, demanded that Honda change everything about the power unit integration. So as a consequence, Honda are actually not sure they can undo what was changed. It's not like you just unplug one part and put something in. These cars are systems, right? You change one thing and everything can change. Lads, we talked last week about motorsport's most expensive blunders, but surely this, an F1 team turning up to race one just to collect data and go home, this is as bad as it gets. Seriously, what would Lawrence Stroll actually be thinking right now? And Ev, I could have asked you if you decided to stay in the hospitality suite with him, but you chose to fuck off after grabbing 2 drinks. So I'm going to start with Tay. Tay, what, if this happens, is this taking the piss of F1 or is this a genuine, real big problem?
I mean, it's not taking the piss because surely none of them saw this coming until... But then that's the thing is, like, Adrian's been there for now, what, a year and a bit, and they've known about this issue in that time, surely. So it's obviously, he's probably frustrated and probably flipping tables. He's probably telling Lance that he probably can't drive next season.
It's like, you know, when you're angry and you kick the dog when you're walking out the door. Fuck.
It's just kicking Lance.
Just kicking. Fucking up, Lance.
Uncle Adrian.
No, it's Lawrence kicking him, you dickhead.
Lawrence.
I'm sorry.
Uncle Adrian.
Hey, Ev, has anything like this happened in F1? I mean, I know I'm asking you a lot. Oh, it has.
For God's sake, yeah. It happened with Honda.
Yeah, Ollie,
with McLaren.
But to the point where they actually turned up to the first race or the next race?
No, not like this.
Not like this.
Honda came back with McLaren and it was disastrous.
Yes.
In part, by all accounts, Honda came into the agreement, into the design of the car, and Honda were just had a lot of hubris, were quite arrogant, and they were trying to say, well, this is the best, this is the best you're ever going to get. And then McLaren were like, well, no, we need a car. We need to build the car with it, like hand in glove. And Honda were very arrogant, admittedly allegedly by the accounts of the McLaren team. And it took them something like a year and a half to even begin to appreciate that you need to build a car and an engine together
simultaneously.
Yes. And you need to be flexible, and of which Honda were not. Then Christian Horner and Red Bull were with Renault, and that blew up. Christian Horner took Honda instead of taking Mercedes, because he would never in his life. and it took them apparently it was a wholesale change in teams for Honda. They had to reinvest like a lot of money just to get to where they needed to be. So there must have been some type of communication or relationship between Christian Horner's team and the Honda team where they could communicate, this is what we need and this is why we need it, as opposed to one team telling the other and then the other team telling them something different.
All right, here's something, Ev, because that's a perfect example of when they were working with Red Bull, they worked with Adrian Newey.
Yes.
This is exactly the same situation.
So what has happened since then is that Honda pulled out of F1. They had their CEO at the time wanted to get out of it because he thought that there was nothing more to gain from being in F1 with Red Bull. They'd already succeeded. And then by Max's 4th season, they were already quote unquote out. So they sold their IP to Red Bull, who now do the Ford thing. But that's a Honda engine.
But then apparently Lance Stroll went back to them with an open checkbook.
Yes. So by all accounts, allegedly, Honda had mothballed their entire division and were not up to date with regulations and things like that. And Honda thought they've got a new CEO with Honda and a complete change of tack going back into F1. But apparently that it's the same. It seems to be the exact same attitude that, well, no, we'll just give you whatever we think you need. And Adrian Newey's like, well, I need the packaging of this and that. And Honda have just been caught like completely with their pants down.
Okay, yeah. There you go. All right, well, moving from predicting thoughts, let's predict some race outcomes. So, on record, no take-backs. We're coming back to this, obviously, next week with actual results in hand, and it's going to be glorious to review just how far off we may be or how much we nailed it. So, 4 things I want from each of you, noting we've already covered off the race winner. So, I want the rest of the podium.
Lewis.
I want the biggest surprise of the weekend. I want the biggest disappointment and 1 wild card. So, Tay, go. You said Oscar to win. You started rattling off about some other 2 finishing the podium. Be quick.
I decided. I changed Lewis second, Russell third.
Okay.
Massive shock surprise. Lindblad fifth.
Lindblad?
Yeah.
You reckon he'll finish 6th?
No, 5th. That's the surprise. I want
in
him
the racing rule.
That is a surprise.
Yeah.
That is a surprise. Okay. Biggest disappointment. You can't say Aston Martin.
No, I would say probably Max being out of the top 10.
Oh, dude, you're talking absolute fucking nonsense. What are you talking about? Do you actually just say these things just because they're outrageous? Or
welcome to the nonsense podcast, everybody.
Well, it is idiots, right?
Yeah.
No, okay. It's a little bit of hope and a little bit of,
crazy hope,
wishful thinking.
All right, Ev, rest of the podium for you.
Okay. I think it'll be Lewis and Charles. I can't decide which one's which, and I think the third will be one of the Haas,
did say Lewis winning
because they're also Ferrari engine.
What the fuck are you 2 on about? You 2 have lost your fucking minds.
Because they've got if it's
a
started
Ferrari
off the start line, it's whoever's got a Ferrari engine.
You could say the same with Cadillac. Isn't Cadillac with Ferrari as well?
Yeah, but I just assume their car's too shit.
Well, there you have it. Okay, so far we have absolutely proved that these predictions are going to be fucking well off. Yeah. Ev, biggest surprise of the weekend? Actually, I'm going to answer that for you. It's Haas finishing in the top 3.
Yeah, I think Haas will be
biggest disappointment?
I think Kimi Antonelli.
Oh, yeah, okay. I like that. Yep, fair enough.
I tell you what, biggest disappointment, Charles Leclerc with
Kim Kardashian at the race.
With being married.
Oh, why? Because you're jealous of his wife now, Ev?
Very quickly, for anyone that gives a shit, maybe I'm taking this too seriously because I've actually tried to think about what we've seen rather than just randomly making shit up. I think Charles might win the race, so that would be my tip for first. Then I reckon George and Max for second and third. Biggest surprise of the weekend is that both Alpines will finish in the top 10. That includes Colapinto. I think he will score his first points, knowing that he did not get anything last year. Biggest disappointment of the weekend will be obviously Lewis not making a podium. And actually, I have a wild card, which seems less wild card now because for some reason Ev thinks that Haas are going to end up on the podium. But I actually think Haas car will make the top 10. It'll be Behrman. It definitely won't be Ocon.
Oh.
Right, that's all on record. Ocon. That's locked. I will be reading those back to you verbatim in a week's time. I don't know which I'm looking forward to
so
most.
Good. It'd be so good if I'm right.
The point being is it will obviously test just truly how much everybody has been paying attention. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the time of the week again. It's quiz time. So for anyone new to the show, welcome to Huss You've Been Paying Attention. Without a doubt, the most chaotic yet pathetic attempt in some instances at knowledge reveal you've ever seen or heard. In fact, it's predominantly what allows us to double down on the name of this brand.
When do they
the
drink
of F1.
coffee in Italy? At what time? What type of croissant do they eat in France?
Right, so the rules, questions 1 through 6. So there's standard rules. You buzz in, you answer, you get it right, you get
Digby
a point.
won last week,
wrong.
didn't he?
He did. The other person
came
gets
last.
a crack.
There you go.
Questions 7 and 8 are different. They're the danger questions, more reward but more risk. You commit to an answer and you get it right, you get double points. You get it wrong, you lose points. Think before you speak, which upon reflection should be the advice for this entire show.
That's what
so the scoreboard coming into today, Ev has alluded to it. Digby, who's not here, is leading 1-0. So today is obviously the opportunity for you guys to level the man who's not in the room. And most excitingly, possibly painfully, it's time to test your buzzers.
Here he comes.
It's time to hear what on earth you've got for me this week.
Here he comes.
Tay's giggling like a schoolgirl.
We've been waiting for
Tay,
this.
Because I know it's always awful. It doesn't matter what I fucking do. Can't park here, mate.
Oh, I love that. Fucking so Aussie, too. Yeah. So for context,
is that from like Summer Nats or something in Canberra?
No. It's what, and again, in the love of the Australian Grand Prix, it's what Aussies do when people have had a car accident. In most instances, and they're on the side of the road, and a car will drive past and yell out the window, "You can't park there, mate." And often the person that's just had the
just
car,
loses
"I'm not
shit.
fucking parked here. I'm not fucking parked here."
Can't park there, mate.
Oh, fuck off. All right. Okay. I like it. I like it. Tay. Ev, your turn. What is your buzzer?
My buzzer will be in the spirit of Tay's buzzer. Your mate.
Your mate. Your mate. The one that you're referring to that you can't fucking stand.
Yeah,
your mate.
Yeah. That's an Aussie. That is an Aussie idiom.
Mate.
That's an Aussie
I thought you were
idiom.
going to go with, "I'm just waiting for a mate," which is that Aussie bloke who was stoned in his car, and the cop's like, "What are you doing, mate?" He's like,
I was trying to think. I was going to go with what for a sumptuous Chinese meal.
Oh, yes, that's your buzzer. That's your buzzer. That's your buzzer. Again, for people that are wondering, it's like, what is it in the 90s, Ev?
No,
it's some guy that,
like late 80s.
I don't know. He gets arrested and he's caught on camera and he's coming out and he goes, "I was just trying to enjoy the sumptuous."
We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis!
He's touched my penis. That is a karate grip you have there, sir.
Oh, you know that one well.
Yeah.
All right, boys,
shit,
there
I
we
don't
go.
remember
Ev,
that one.
Ev, you have to go with the second choice there. That's the best. I'm definitely going to run the audios over the top of these. Just a bit of comic relief for everyone.
I think it was in Melbourne as well.
Melbourne themed. Let's go. Question 1. In what year did the Australian Grand Prix move from Adelaide to Albert Park in Melbourne?
Sumptuous Chinese meal,
mate.
Well, I think that was Ev.
94.
Wrong.
Was that what you were going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say
Because
it. Just let me
I
think.
didn't give any dates away, though, but you obviously
no,
weren't paying
but I
attention.
think you did say something about
Tay,
how it was
when was the
custom made for the Formula One. Back when
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
talking about that.
when was
Fuck,
the
it was
first race in
defi-
Melbourne?
I feel like it was definitely early. I'm going to say
Quick, 3. 2.
93.
No, 1996. No, I was just trying to figure out why he went earlier than you. Yeah, so Adelaide hosted it from 85 to 95.
We were all thinking that.
I
10
generally,
years on
because
the
I generally
streets.
did think it was on the earlier side of the 90s. I didn't think it was
Yeah.
halfway through it.
Don't anyone fact check that. Right, question 2. Nil
Hang on a minute.
Just like, you got me doubting myself. You got me down. Right, 2 parts to this question, half a point each. Which driver and which constructor have the most wins at the Australian Grand Prix? Note,
Can't
I said
park there,
Australian.
mate.
Australian Grand Prix. Yeah, what do you got? What do you got? So give me
Red
driver. What'd you say, Red Bull?
Red Bull.
Wrong. Not even
it's
close.
Fucking, I
Not
know
even
it is.
close. Yep,
Nah,
and you got
no,
a
it
driver?
is.
I'll give you a chance to have a driver. Actually, I shouldn't. No, you didn't get.
Because
any
he's only
part
going to
of
go with a Red Bull driver.
No, no.
that. Well, by nature,
oh,
he
no.
should.
Now
Right.
that I know it's not Red Bull.
Wow.
Right, Ev, what have you got?
Tra-
you know, it's the fourth. Hold on, I just need to work backwards from this stuff. Sometimes I just need to help try and figure out how you land on your answers. The Australian Grand Prix has been going for 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
did Red Bull start winning races?
93.
Fucking idiot.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
Ev, what do you got?
No, are we going... So this is going back through Adelaide history
Yes,
as well.
Australian Grand Prix. I did say that.
Is it Jack
Well,
Brabham?
that's the whole point of the game.
Is it Brabham Formula
No.
One team? Is
no,
it Lotus?
because he didn't fucking win one.
No Australians ever won the Australian Grand Prix.
All right,
This
well
is
then...
unbelievable.
It's
this is-
Ferrari and Schumacher.
Yeah, that's the only... You got to play the percentage
The
here,
stats?
that it's probably Ferrari and
Right.
Schumacher. If
Okay,
it
well, you're
isn't
both
McLaren
wrong.
and Lewis, then it'd
You're
be
both
Ferrari and...
Both wrong. The driver
You're
is
wrong, mate.
Schumacher.
You're
Schumacher
fucking
is
wrong,
right.
mate.
He's had
Got
4 wins. But
Benetton.
no, neither of you got it. Neither of you
Benetton.
fucking got it.
I just got it.
No, McLaren. McLaren have 12 wins at the Australian Grand Prix.
It's Schumacher as the driver and then McLaren as the constructor.
Correct. Ferrari behind.
I thought you meant it had to be one team and one driver.
That's why I gave you half a point
thinking
for each.
this is what? No, that's bullshit.
It doesn't matter. You still fucking got it wrong anyway.
Yeah, we fucked up,
Right.
Ev.
Still 0-all. Here we go. Question 3. What is the best finishing position? Let me finish that question, Ev.
Her chest.
The
You
best
cannot
finishing
keep that in.
positioning. Fuck. Stop. What is the best finishing position an Australian driver has ever achieved at their home race? What's the best position an Aussie driver's ever finished?
The answer better.
Can't park here, mate. And I'm going to go say it was probably Webber and maybe...
I need the position.
Yeah. I'm going to say third.
Doggy.
I think he got podium.
Nope. No Aussie's ever been on the podium. There is an asterisk to that in a second. Ev?
Oscar 4th.
Oscar is correct.
Yeah!
That was not last year. It was the year before, wasn't it?
Right. That's right. So Oscar was 4th in 2024. Ricardo was 4th in 2016 and 2018. However, just to note, I believe Ricardo finished 2nd in 2016 but was disqualified after the race.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then correct. Weber was 4th in 2012.
Yeah.
There you go.
The bridesmaid.
One? Well, actually, not even the bridesmaid. You're like the fat cousin that sits at the end of the fucking wedding party.
You're the one who wasn't invited and you just turned up. You're like, oh, she doesn't even go here.
How many drivers on this weekend's grid have previously won the Australian Grand Prix?
Can't park here, mate.
What do you got? I need a number.
2.
Wrong.
I was going to say 3 or 4. What am I going to go with? Is 3 or 4? Is one of them correct?
No,
you can't give me that.
Oh
shit.
no, that's right. Because neither are correct anyway.
Neither of them are correct.
Yeah, all right,
It's
that's fine.
7.
What?
There are 7 drivers on the grid this weekend that have won the Aussie GP. You got Lewis. He's won it twice, right? He won it with McLaren and then he won it with Mercedes. You've got Lando last year.
Yeah, Lando.
You've got Sainz that was the year before.
Fuck Charles.
You've got Max, Leclerc, Bottas, and
I knew Bottas.
And Alonso 20 years ago in 2006.
That was his last win, wasn't it?
I don't know. Good question. I mean, that's a long time to be getting paid a decent salary and not 20 years ago, boys, which is crazy. So
Holy shit.
Actually, it's been 5 different race winners across the last 5 races in Australia.
That's actually quite impressive.
That's a race that doesn't tend to repeat itself. Right, question 5. Ev is up 1-0. I love this question.
Shocking.
If I don't say so myself. Tay, I really fear for you for getting any points tonight.
I know. I'm having an absolute fucking shock.
I came from behind last week, so...
Melbourne was very nearly given a completely different name when it was first settled in the 1850s.
What?
You're a cunt.
What name was originally proposed by its founder, John Batman?
Can't park here, mate.
What do you got?
Go for the
Batman.
joke answer. Do the joke. No, Gotham.
Oh, that was good, Ev. But obviously, Batman wasn't around then for him. No,
Doesn't
you're
matter.
wrong, Tay.
That doesn't matter.
He didn't name it after himself.
Well, he didn't name it Batman. Because it's not really like a township, is it? Ev, you going to take a guess? I'll give you 3 seconds. You're not going to get it, but the I'm Batman theme is definitely in the right territory.
New Sydney.
You're an idiot.
He just said it was, Batman was in the word. In the fucking. Go on.
He named it Batmania.
Ah.
So I'm going to say it again. Batmania. So in 1835, John Batman, who co-founded the settlement, named it after himself. So Tay, you were so close.
Yeah.
It was officially called Batmania, and it wasn't until 1837, which is a couple of years later, that the name Melbourne was adopted. Which means we are previewing the Australian Grand Prix in a city that, in a parallel universe, is still called Batmania. And I'm going to think about that the rest of the weekend. Ev, what were you going to say?
Why did they change it?
Why? Yeah.
Was he dead though? Did he die and then they changed it?
No, they named it. There was something to do with the British Prime Minister at the time. I don't know. Maybe look it up. I think there was something to do.
Was he like,
Melbourne
the fuck is this name? Change it immediately.
He was
the
a
Queen
Joker
doesn't
fan.
approve.
If he was a Joker fan. Right, boys, it is still 1-0 to Ev. Question number 6. So here we go. This is not a bonus question. This is not a lose points. But you do get, there is 2 points up for grabs, right? So the first part of the question is, name both animals on the Australian coat of arms.
Come back here, mate.
So about me.
That's Tay. Here we go. He's been out of Australia for a long time.
Kangaroo and emu.
Well done, Tay. You get a point. Right, the bonus point. And Ev, you can have a crack here.
Delicious Chinese
Why were they
meal.
specifically
Because
chosen?
they can't go backwards.
Wow, he got it. Ev.
Which I think is a really genuinely
really interesting
lovely
fact.
sentiment.
It's like
right,
a cow
kangaroo-
can't go down the stairs.
That's right.
Kangaroo
yeah,
and
why?
the emu.
It should be a cow going
So
downstairs.
neither can easily move backwards, of which lies some symbolism in the idea that Australia always moves forward and never retreats.
Yeah.
So there you go. Beautiful national
I
sentiment.
think it's in the shape of their knees that they can't.
If you say so.
Yeah,
They can't
we
do
understand it.
We get the concept of
The
not being able to move
biomechanics
backwards,
of
mate.
an emu
But
and a
leave it to the
kangaroo.
symbolism. Leave it to
Right,
what
boys,
Ol just
we're in the
said.
danger zone. It's
2-1.
2-1. I thought
2-1.
you.
It's
Jeez,
eaten up.
Tay, well done.
It's eaten up like a delicious Chinese meal.
Right, danger zone.
Please.
Right answer rewards you with a bonus point, so 2 points for right answer. Wrong answer will cost you 2 points. Think before you speak, not while you speak. Right, question
Tay.
number 7. Speaking of kangaroos, roughly how many are there in Australia?
Fucking hell.
Is this the closest number? You can't have
Yeah, all right. I'll give you close now. I'll give you closest. Oh, no. If you're within, I'm trying to.
Well, if your
No.
arbitrary number is within
Yeah.
an arbitrary
The
number
closest,
of
the
another
closest,
number,
But if it's so far off, it doesn't fucking count. Okay? Let's go. Tay, anyone? You got
I'm gonna
buzzer?
lose. I'm not gonna.
You know, oh yeah, of course. You don't actually have to have a guess.
Alright,
Good. There you go.
fuck it. I've got nothing to lose.
But you
I'm
don't want to
gonna
hold
say-
out for the next one, Tay? You thinking
Tay,
you're gonna
hold
try
out.
and-
This is the question's fault. It's not
Oh.
yours.
Okay, Evan.
Well, you get it wrong, and Ev.
Yeah,
can't
go
win.
for it, Tay. Go
Unless we
for
go-
it.
Well,
It's
not
more than
necessarily,
3.
because I can tie it up. Unless I go into
Because
minus
you know
numbers.
how many wild
No,
kangaroos
if you get it wrong,
there are
you're
in
going
the
to
world.
-1. Ev's on 2.
Okay, yeah, then I won't.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez.
I have an
It's a long
idea
road
in
there.
the number. I know it's
Long road.
a lot.
Okay, so I'm not going to deduct points, but just out of curiosity, what would you guys have guessed?
I was going to say it's over 1 million.
But you guys are so.
Is it 10
It's a
million?
big,
A million
it's a big country.
It's 50 million. There are
Yeah.
50
Okay.
million kangaroos.
Yeah,
there are
that's
more
more-
than twice.
Yeah,
If
I
you-
said a couple. Like
You said
50,
a couple of million.
Like 50.
Oh, so I'm closer.
But so look, for those that haven't been in Australia, they're everywhere. They're in our backyard. They're on the way to school. They're in the
They're a
shopping
pest.
malls.
They're
We're
a
outnumbered.
genuine pest.
Let's
Yeah.
just put it
Outnumbered.
to, we never had a kangaroo in our backyard.
Yeah,
We
I know,
never.
but your American listeners, which, by the way, was the biggest. So many of our listeners last week were from the US for whatever, so you're doing a good job over there, Tay.
Yeah.
But yet, they would believe
I'm
it.
plugging the shit out of that.
They would believe it. They would seriously. They probably think Ev goes to. What do you do during the day, Ev? Work, or whatever you do, in a kangaroo pouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
there goes
hop,
Evan.
hop, hop.
Yeah.
Hop,
All right, boys. Last
hop, hop,
question.
hop.
Last question. It's 2-1. Melbourne is home to the world's 4th largest, and it's the largest in Southern Hemisphere. What? You're gonna have to guess here, Tay. Or you're gonna lose, unless Ev wants to try and stab and
Yeah.
go for the lead.
There's only one answer I can think of.
Do it. Come on, Ev. Run the gauntlet.
No.
Run the gauntlet.
I don't think it'd be a
Get on
stadium,
that
although the
tram.
MCG's is one of the biggest in the world. I know.
I
that
love how
they're
you're just flogging off answers here, just thinking that maybe Ollie
Right,
will
you
give
got
it
5
away.
seconds.
trying to. Yeah, he gives it away a lot. Come on,
Well,
Tay.
I already have.
Come on, Tay.
Neither of you were listening.
Come on, Tay.
5,
Really?
Well, then I don't know what
Four,
it is. If you've already said it, I don't know what it is.
2.
Come back here,
5.
mate. I don't give a shit. Is it
Shopping centre.
Albert
I'll
Park?
Think of what the fuck? Yeah, Tay. Yeah, it's got the only Albert Park. No,
Hey, this
What
is a
were
good
you gonna
time for
say?
my
Think
other,
about what?
my other thing. Hey, Ollie, hey, your mate.
your mate. Yeah, the other way. The
You're
other
going
way.
the other way, you dumb
Right.
cunt.
Whatever
So,
it is. You're on my
Melbourne-
right.
Is home to the world's 4th largest and largest in the
Brewery.
Southern Hemisphere tram network. There are over 1,700 tram stops in Melbourne. There's 250 kilometres of track. It's been running since 1885.
It does not feel like a big enough city to justify that.
Well, I mean, it is. Melbourne is iconic. That's why all those fucking photos are with the trams. Like, all the F1 teams have their shoots with the trams.
I think of Portugal.
Well, it might be the third biggest tram.
So,
right, Tate, remind me to put that in the question, in the quiz for Portugal when we get there in round 5.
So, Batmania has the fourth largest tram network in the world.
Okay, here we go. Listeners, we've got a new winner. It's Evan. Well done,
Yay!
Evan. Well done. Clap, clap,
Yay!
clap. You now stand equal with Digby. And yeah, you've got 1 point. Tay, you have no points.
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Right, as we wrap up today's show, it's time to do so with a snapshot of what else has been happening in the last week since our last episode. It's time for What's Verstappening. For the newcomers, this is our version of Pardon the Interruption. Few topics, quick takes, no filter. I'll give these two, and obviously you listening, some quick context, and then the lads have 30 seconds to tell us what they think. What you then think of that, well, that's not really our problem. We're just here to report the headlines and opinions. So, right, lads, are you ready? Poor old Tay, he's feeling a bit flat. Look at him, he's a bit flat tonight.
Super flat.
It all started with the luggage question and getting caught at customs.
Yeah, as soon as you started calling me out, going, "You're a boring cunt." You literally said that. You literally said, "This fucking guy, monotone, boring."
He
just
started on the tarmac and he never left the tarmac.
Yeah, you're like Aston Martin tonight.
Yeah, but I can't. I got the wrong fucking engine.
Topic 1. Bahraining men. Middle East reconsidered for season opener. First up, and given everything we've discussed earlier, this one has popped up again, probably at the worst time for the Bahrain GP hosts and organisers. But before the Middle East crisis, there was already genuine debate in F1 circles about whether Melbourne should remain the season opener and that it should shift to Bahrain. The case being made here is that it's closer to Europe, it's cheaper for logistics, it's right next to where pre-season testing happens, it's more practical, blah, blah, blah. As honorary Australians and fully acknowledging the bias, 450,000 people over the weekend that will turn up again. I understand they're looking for another record crowd. It's one of the great sporting atmospheres on the planet. Incredible city, in the city too. So, you don't miss that the F1 is on when you're in Melbourne. It's the race that wakes the world up to a new F1 season. Gents, why would you ever start it anywhere else? And if you had to rotate it, noting that Bahrain is likely not at the top of your list, what track are you giving it to? Ev, starting with you. You have 30 seconds. Go.
Everybody in Formula One loves this because they generally based in either Europe or specifically England. Coming here, it has always been a very soft start for the Formula One teams themselves, which is what they want. Why Bahrain want it? Because they're already testing there and they're sort of saying, well, where would
you take it? Where would you take it? If there was any other track?
Vegas or New York, or do one of your Mario Kart tracks.
Okay.
That are
cool.
That are all fireworks.
Go. And Rainbow Roads.
It's so iconic having Melbourne be the starting of the season, and I feel like it would be a shame to lose that.
Okay. And if you could put it in any one of the other 24 tracks of this year, where are you going?
I'd agree with Ev in the sense it's probably somewhere in the US.
Okay.
Maybe even Miami, get that trash out of the way.
I love Miami. Right, topic number 2. Does Drive to Survive have the legs to survive? So season 8 of Drive to Survive dropped last week. We've all had a week with it. Like we flagged and anticipated in our chat last week, the reviews are genuinely fairly mixed. The good, slick storytelling, the Norris-Verstappen title fight is actually quite compelling viewing, and the Horner farewell take is in a way, is probably the best unmissable television. The bad, it's too polished, it's too corporate, it's too PR friendly, it's too edited. The same shit we've been saying for years, though it appears others are waking up as the criticism being leveled is actually that if a team's PR department didn't want something shown, it simply doesn't get shown. Many feel like it's lost that raw, chaotic authenticity that made the early seasons what they were. In avoiding the rehashing of the same old complaints, in looking back at the reflection of the season, what did you love about the show? What was your favorite part? And more importantly, what was missing that you wish you saw? 30 seconds, Ev.
I think you said it really well with the authenticity. I think Digby would agree with this. there's stuff where like Lewis gets caught like daydreaming in the press pool, and then he remembers that he's on camera, and he has to get. That's what
turns
we
back
want.
into his script.
Yeah, and so yes, that whole thing about what was it, Zach Brown, and then he was talking something, and then somebody else was like, "Oh, they're filming," and it was like, "Oh, all right."
Well, that was the plank.
That
where
was the plank
instantly
stuff.
stop, and it just like
yeah.
So
did you have a favorite part?
I guess the stuff
watching
with
Lewis daydream.
When Lewis daydreamed about the V10 that went past, I think Fernando drove an old
Lanzo.
V10. It's like, that's an incredible, like, you can't, it brings hairs up on your eye. Like, you can't help that. Who was it from talking to Gene Haas? And it's like, fucking Gene! Fuck Gene! I've got the fucking stupid leg.
So you're just going back heaps of seasons. Right, Tay, come on.
It's one of those shows where I think it would be amazing to anyone who didn't catch the season of the actual race season.
Kind of the point, which is on Netflix.
But it doesn't help any of us who are
So what
part
was
of
your
that
favorite
season.
part and what was missing?
It was really actually funny enough. I actually really enjoyed the part with Horner and the interaction and he shared the messages that he got
with
from
Toto. Yeah, that was
and
cool.
I thought that was really nice. And that was something I realized I missed.
Can I actually say,
Horner.
just on that, Horner was a big miss, but actually Horner's involvement is exactly what it should be about, because Horner was gone from F1 and yet he still gave them access to him.
If I can be the
quick, please hurry the fuck up.
Digby's advocate here.
Yeah.
Don't you think that Toto Wolff wrote those messages knowing
they'd be on it?
Come on.
Help me out here, Digby. I can hear Digby. I can hear him.
Don't ruin it.
Right, topic 3. Mick Schumacher picking up where he left off. Right, I'll be honest, I did not know this happened until I was doing research for the app. Mick Schumacher made his IndyCar debut in, I don't know, somewhere. 2 days ago.
He completed St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg, that's it. Yeah, he completed exactly 4 corners before being collected in a first lap crash and was immediately out of the race, which is, I'm sorry, but extremely on brand for Mick Schumacher. Now, acknowledging that Mick is out of the F1 picture, is Formula One genuinely done with Mick Schumacher or the Schumacher name, or is there still a realistic path back? Go, Ev. 30 seconds. Let's.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody.
Don't you think it's sad? Like,
I think.
Wouldn't it be awesome? It's like kind of like the romance of Lewis winning an 8th championship is the Schumacher name being good in F1 again. It's a shame. Okay. Anyways, Tay.
I think the only reason why anyone would want to see his name again is because of that legacy. But if he was to come back and keep performing like this, he's only going to ruin that name.
He was Mercedes reserve driver, not last year, but the year before that, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, he's on there, well-known. Michael drove a Mercedes in the last few years.
That didn't go well for him either. Topic 4. Liberty Media says, show me the money. Who doesn't like another Jerry Maguire reference? Liberty Media dropped their 25 financials this week. The numbers are, and I say this with full awareness of what it means for us, significant. Revenue's up to $3.9 billion. Operating income's up 28%. Live viewership up 20-something percent.
That's so much.
Nearly 7 million fans attended a race. Formula One is bigger than it's ever been in its history. I also want to point out that we contribute to those numbers every single week and we don't see any of it. So 2 questions, gents.
It's their accounting as well.
How do you feel being part of that success? And stepping back, is this great for the sport, or do the size of these numbers start to worry you about where it's headed? Ev, very quickly.
I think if you've ever been to a race, going to a race is actually awful because you only get to see like one corner. You have no idea what's going on. Food costs $1 million. Your kid is crying next to you. You're standing the whole time.
That's not your kid. So are you worried, as somebody that's been around the F1 a long time, are you worried about the direction, or you're enjoying it?
No, I don't care. If it's just a product, they're just going to try to, all they're interested in is making this a bigger product to sell to another big fish.
Yes, true.
Don't give a shit. It needs to go back to V10s with no assists, and that's it. Because that's all anybody wants.
Right, Tay.
You're welcome. Put that on a T-shirt.
I think they just got to keep it entertaining and make the races fun. As soon as we start as soon as the races become boring on every level, whether it's atmosphere or the cars themselves, then you're going to lose viewerships and it's going to become boring to watch. So as long as they keep finding ways of being able to make the races fun, then it'll have the legs.
Boom. 30 seconds. Topic 5. This is the 2 topics. This is the double Monaco barrel. 2 stories, 1 topic, because Monaco cannot help itself. So story 1, the FIA has quietly scrapped the mandatory 2-stop rule introduced to the 25 Monaco Grand Prix. So for context, the rule was designed to make Monaco more interesting by forcing teams to pit twice, because otherwise there's no overtaking. It's a pretty fucking boring race. It backfired immediately for those that remember the race last year. The FIA kept it in for 2026, but then have dropped it this week without much fanfare. Happy, sad, indifferent, and the real question underneath all of this is how do you actually make Monaco genuinely interesting? Ev, 30 seconds, go. We'll get on to the next Monaco topic in a second.
Instead of pit stops, any of that nonsense, you only get 1 set of tyres and they're softs. They've got to last the whole race.
Oh, that's sick. I love it.
That's it. And everybody's like tiptoeing around one another. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
Like they speed up.
Idea,
like if you've ever seen like a slow race, which is how you have to keep in motion, but as slowly as possible. And it's like, it goes for hours. And then like people are just like that. But it's enthralling if you get it. Do that. It's way better than trying to.
Righto.
Yeah, I don't think it's definitely not missed. I remember talking about it last season, how the race was so shit because
they
of it.
Backed up all their second drivers backed up.
And it was all, and you could, it was all predictable. You could tell what was going to happen. It was bullshit, but yeah. I don't have as creative idea as what Ev just said. That's quite brilliant. The only thing I could think of is do it the old school way of starting a race where everyone starts in the pit and they have to run to their car.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay, all right. Last story, still Monaco. Charles Leclerc got married on the weekend. He had a private ceremony. I'm not even going to try and pronounce where he had it. Close friends, family only. Less than a week before Melbourne. To his long-term girlfriend. The engagement ring, lads, oval cut diamond, estimated north of about £400,000. And the getaway car, a 1957 Ferrari 250 Testarossa. Digby play that song. One of just 33, I believe, ever made, worth somewhere between $12 and $40 million, which is a pretty fucking wide valuation. He also posted on Instagram that this was only part 1 with quote, part 2 will be next year with all our close ones. So Monaco, so Leclerc. Which brings me to the only question that matters this week. Leclerc left his Monaco wedding in that super expensive. If you could have any wedding car in the world, anything at all, what are you going with? Ev?
I would go with
a Mazda 2.
It'd be the HMS, whichever one, the QE2. I'd go the QE2 that the Queen.
Is that a boat?
Yeah, it's the Queen's boat.
Fuck me.
And it'd just be
Nailed
the
us. Brief. Right.
See you later.
Tay, what do you got?
Me. I would do the DBR one, which is very similar to the Ferrari that.
Lovely. Can I just say
had.
I don't have a car to suggest, probably a Ferrari, but
you have.
It's kind of weird that if you think about it, Charles Leclerc's wedding car had his work logo on it. Like, that'd be fucking weird, wouldn't it? Getting married and driving off in a company car.
You love it too much. That's the equivalent of when you see guys who own Ferraris walking around with the hat or the jacket.
Yeah, I absolutely would.
Bro.
Absolutely. I would just be like, I'm not near my car, but I need you to know I own a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Just dangling
your
keys
that's a wrap
everywhere.
On episode 2. We've covered off the Middle East conflict and obviously the extraordinary logistical scramble that still got Formula One to Melbourne. We previewed the 40th Australian Grand Prix. New era, no DRS, no idea who wins. We locked in our predictions on record with the confidence of people who absolutely should not be making predictions. And we found out Melbourne was nearly called Batmania. And obviously Charles got married and made us all feel very inadequate. Not a bad hour's work. Huge thank you to Tay and Ev for carrying this episode with distinction in the absence of our missing third Digby. Buddy, we kept your seat warm. Now, the most important thing, the race is this Sunday, 3 p.m. Melbourne time, 4 a.m. Sunday morning if you're watching from the UK. Fuck knows what time in Tay's time. And for anyone else in the world, you can figure it out. And please, please, please don't forget to share our love. Find one person in your life who has never watched a Formula One race and tell them to tune in this Sunday. Just the one. New regulations. No one knows what's going to happen. If there was ever a race to convert someone, I reckon this might be the one. And while you're at it, shove this episode down their throat to ensure they're ready to go. And if you haven't already, beyond sharing, make sure you like and subscribe. Costs nothing, but it means everything. Be sure to check us out on Insta and TikTok and now on YouTube, where you get to see our mugs and genuine reactions to the garbage that some of us spit out. Next week, we will be back with a review of all things Melbourne plus a preview of the China GP. Back-to-back race weeks, baby. See you Sunday, Albert Park, where the first time in 2026, it will be lights out and away we go. Bye. Bye.